Read it. Okay, read. It's wet. He said it's wet. Sit down here, Mom.
Huh?
It's wet.
Yes.
It's wet. It's not cold.
Wherever I go, all I see is damp. Damp, damp, damp. I just wake up and I find the walls dripping like... It looks like sweat, or it's like raining inside the house.
My name is Amaran. I'm a children's doctor and I work in South Yorkshire. So growing up in my community, I saw so much ill health, and sadly, I saw a lot of it amongst children and young people, and that's what inspired me to become a children's doctor.
My cousin, always when she came here, just suddenly 3 minutes she started to have short breath and she smelled something, the one no one he smell it, and she said it's something in this house, the one he make people feel ill. Every week the cleaner come. Children room, in my room.
We're taught in health that problems arise through individuals, through the lung problem that they manifest, through an infection. We're taught to treat that individual through medicines, treatments, procedures and surgeries.
I moved here in 2009 in June. After 2 months, I start to have like some reaction allergy. I don't know what is going on. I start to have like eyes drop, eyes itching, now it's very stuffy. This is asthma, 2009. I moved to this flat in June. That means I came to this house with no asthma in June. 1st of July, 2009, asthma.
Since day one as a paediatrician, I've listened to hundreds of children's chests with this stethoscope. And I've listened to wheezes and crackles and seen children work so hard just to get oxygen through their body. And at that point, I started to notice there was a pattern. Something was connecting the experience of all these children that went far beyond just the parameters of their bodies. The same story again and again, listening to children report mould, struggle with damp. I began to realise this wasn't about the individual. The common factor that linked it all together were their homes. I started to see that their homes were making them sick.
We are in November and look the window, both of them is open. It's not just me. Look my neighbors. Look, top one is open, other one is open. It's not just me. That means everyone is sick, not just me.
This wasn't just about leaving a window open in a room to ventilate a house. No, it was far more than that. This was terrace by terrace, estate by estate. This was Sheffield, Rotherham, Manchester, Exeter, Edinburgh. Every health worker I've spoken to had the same story, the same diagnosis, a national crisis, that our housing system is causing a national health emergency.
When the ambulance come, I'm thinking, why is the house causing her illnesses to become worse every time she comes in? I feel that it shouldn't be like that. She should be living at home. It's supposed to be a safe place, so she should be happy at home, safe and not ill.
I'm Becky. I'm an organiser. I work for the New Economics Foundation. I lead and manage the Homes for Us campaign.
My name's Samantha Lewis. I am a housing solicitor. I specialise in mould-induced asthma claims and their associated disrepair claims.
So, why is mould political? I'll tell you. History lesson. After the Second World War, we as a country created a society that looked after that society. That meant things like building the welfare state, it meant things like building the NHS. It also meant building millions and millions of council homes up and down the country. So what happens? It gets ripped up. All of those choices get unmade for one very simple reason. Homes stop being seen as homes, homes become assets. We all know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Margaret Thatcher. The choices that she unmade. Rent control, gone. Your landlord can charge what they want. Social housing sold off in its millions. Funding for social housing slashed, so the homes we do have left are falling to bits.
And as we've seen within the last 3 decades, within the NHS and also within the housing sector as well as other sectors, it's been affected by privatisation, where parts of the sectors and parts of the infrastructure have been sold off and pulled away.
The NHS was never meant to stand alone. Our first Minister for Health was also Minister for Housing, because at this time we had a vision for health that recognised the central role that housing played in the lives of the public. Housing and health was 2 sides of the same coin. Housing is our health.
What does all this mean in material terms, not ideological ones? What does it add up to for you and your family, your friends? It adds up to housing associations and your landlord ignoring your calls if you can even know their number to be able to reach them. It means crap electrics. It means bad repair. It means sky-high rents that are eating up all your wages. It means your kids having to sleep 3-4 to a room, and that room being full of black mould. And that is why mould is political.
The policy changes and the attitudes have crept in, much like mould itself. They have entered this welfare infrastructure that was built to help people and infected it so that it is actually damaging.
I heard about in Channel 4 that this boy, he died because he started getting ill from damp. I don't want that happening to my mum, or me, or my sister, or my dad, or no one.
And as a health worker today, we have to ask questions about what it means to have a healthy housing system that means we no longer see children arriving in clinic and sadly dying of problems related to mould and damp.
What needs to happen is quite simple for me. We need to learn from what we did well before. We need to take the idea that tenants should be looked after and protected, that homes should be homes, not assets, that homes should be the foundation for a decent society, for looking after all of us, and we need to bring that into now. We need to bring that to the present day and build on it.
I've come today to speak to tenants, inform them of their legal rights and also how solicitors can assist with these mould and damp and asthma conditions.
Obviously, we haven't, as individuals, got the power to make all those changes that need to be made. Politicians have got that power, the government has got that power. The problem is that they lack the political will to do anything about any of the problems that we're facing in the housing sector. But the good thing is they can be influenced, and that influence is a real thing that we can build together. We can think about how we can build that power, build those campaigns to put pressure on government. And you know what? If they're not going to change the housing system, maybe we change them.
Brought something that health workers often use to try and fix the problem. This doesn't fix the housing crisis, okay? So we need to move away from this way of thinking towards recognising that the homes that you are born in, the ones you live in, the ones you grow up in, the ones you work and relax in, those are the ones that shape your health. And thank you for your time.
It's only when the tenants realise they were not to blame for the mould in their homes and their blame was a result of a systemic failing within the country, housing sector and politics that they realise they and their child have been failed. And that is when their guilt starts to fade away and turns into anger as to why nothing had been done.
When I go to hospital and I talk with people, everyone suffer from the mold. It fixes all in London. I'm going to Manchester, not just for myself. 4 million in London, the one who suffer like me. I can walk for 1 meter, but I'm going to Manchester, inshallah, to show people how I suffer a lot.
4 grand the table, shame on you! 4 grand the table, shame on you!
Behind me is the Affordable Housing Awards, a somewhat strange name for an event that cost £4,000 per table. Executives of housing associations who have recorded record profits this year, whilst their tenants are paying to stay in unfit, insecure housing.
Not a day that goes by in my workplace where I don't see someone sick because of the home that they come from. I'm here to say, I believe you. I'm here with you. Us as healthcare workers are just as angry as you. Our government chooses to make us sick. Our landlords in here are choosing to make us sick. It's a simple fix.
Cannot keep on as a country talking about homes as something that have to be used to make money. It doesn't work. Enough is enough. If you're one of those 58% of renters that are struggling with black mould and damp, if you're one of those 58% who is probably lying in bed, awake at night, wheezing, hearing their kids wheeze, thinking that it's your fault that you've ended up in this situation, stop feeling like that. This is not your fault, but it is within your power to help change it.
Hi everyone, I come from London to Manchester. Why I come from London to Manchester? Because I had enough. I'm so sorry I can't speak louder because just I came in from hospital yesterday, 2 o'clock in the morning. The festival, before I came, I think just myself. But now here is not just me. I'm here to present millions of people in London, the one who live in the same situation of me, like me. We need just our house to be safe.
Yes.
We don't feel safe. We don't feel safe.
Kids can grow up in homes with no black mould. Kids can grow up in homes that are warm and clean and safe and comfortable. It does not have to be like this. Don't fall into that trap of thinking that you don't do politics, that you don't get involved in all of that. You're already involved in all of this. Mould is caused directly by political choices that have been made throughout your entire life. But the solution to those conditions is also political. So if you want to change this, you have to get political, you have to get involved.
Because I am as pissed off, I'm as angry as all of you are. Because I can't help you anymore. I can give you an inhaler and that's where it blimmin' stops.
You are totally entitled to be angry. I'm angry as well. But if you want to take the first step towards finding out how to do something about it, go to homesforus.org.uk and click on Get Involved.
We've got to speak to our landlords, we've got to speak to our government and tell them just to fucking get on with it. Mould is political.